In this video, I'm going to review the entire process of working with Russo from start to present. So in the beginning, I worked with him and trained with him as a teammate, not as a coach, simply to better understand his demands, his capacities, his constraints, simply going through what he's going through, feeling what he's feeling, and better understanding what he's capable of doing. After that, I got him to do 2 tests, but combined into one, so the ladder exercise into a full cycle sprint. So the ladder exercise is kind of like test level number 1, and the full cycle sprint is kind of like test level number 2. I chose this ladder exercise because it's easier than the full cycle sprint, but it mimics some of the more challenging parts of the full cycle sprint. So if you can maintain the really challenging features of a full cycle sprint in the ladder exercise, then he may or may not be able to maintain those features in the full cycle sprint because the full cycle sprint is harder. And if you can maintain it in the full cycle sprint, then chances are he can maintain it in the ladder exercise. If he can't maintain it in the ladder exercise, then chances are he won't be able to maintain it in the full cycle sprint. After that, I tracked his motion on my computer, and he was really close to passing or maintaining all the good features in the ladder exercise. And we can pretty much guess, and we saw that he wasn't able to maintain those features in the full cycle sprint. After that, I pointed out the things he's doing well, and the intention behind this was, number 1, to make sure those features are maintained while focusing on the features that we have to improve on. So for example, in the ladder exercise, he was doing a good job triple extending, but his swing knee was not driving through. But if I were to focus on driving that knee up without focusing on that triple extension that he's already doing well, he might begin to lose that feature. So, and another reason I pointed out things that he's doing well is because simply I was really impressed with some of the things he was demonstrating. After that, I pointed out the things he needs to improve on, simply because we need to improve on them to increase his sprint speed. Based on the features that he's doing well and the features that he's not, or he needs to improve on, I drew out pages and pages of vectors and torques and all that physics stuff to better understand what would be the results or the consequence of improving 1, 2, or 3, or combinations of the features that he needs to improve on. So for example, if you were to improve on that full triple extension in the full sprint without improving on anything else, then he might begin to lean back and jump up instead of forward. Knowing these results are really important because it helps me as a coach better decide what order of features to work through first, what phases, and what focuses to give him. Also, what hurdles to be ready for later on down the road when we already nailed a couple of these features. Now, I not only have to come up with workouts that are effective for his sprint speed, but I also have to consider what workouts he would actually do even when I'm not present. Obviously, I would be present and I would coach him through the first couple sessions, but once I feel like he has a good grip of what to do, I would expect him to do it on his own, and I have to be really confident that he actually will do it on his own and do it correctly on his own. So after a lot of time and consideration, instead of giving him a new workout, I gave him focuses during the workout that he's already doing given by UFT. And the reason I did this was because the workouts that he's doing given by UFT, the exercise in that workout aligns with what his demands are. So his demand is speed. The workouts that UFT is giving him, it does work to improve his speed. But working with him before, I noticed a couple features that can be tweaked to yield better results. So, finally I came up with a coaching plan and guided him through his own workout. After 2 sessions, he improved tremendously. The first 2 sessions, the theme was extending the knee. That's it. Not extending the hip, no knee, no ankle, nothing else. The only focus I gave him was extending the knees in those first 2 sessions. And the last video that I posted was that second session, and you can see that not only his knees started to extend fully, but his hips, began to extend fully. His knees were driving. He was maintaining that lower drive position for longer instead of standing up too early. And a bunch of other features were already improved within those 2 sessions just with one focus. So working from there, now I have to come up with a new focus and continue to develop and fix those other features that aren't or that might need more work still. At this point, majority of the features are well on their way to being improved, but coordinating these new movements are still a little bit awkward. So I'm very confident that after just a little bit more practice, these movements will smoothen out and he'll be even more pacey than he already was. Russo, he's a really quick learner, much quicker than I thought, and I'm super excited to see where he is even like 2 or 3 weeks from now, which is really, really fast.